Hey guys, it's Viewmasters Reactions, and we're back with Talks Machina, episode 50, The Endless Burrows. We just finished the live stream last night. We met Spurt. Spurt was I was going to say the biggest thing I can remember from the episode, but honestly, that was a really solid, good episode. From the very beginning, we have all the kobolds. Then we have two of them follow us. One of them ends up being this guy, Chris Perkins, I believe the name was. I never seen him or heard of him in my life. You guys said he is a big deal in D&D, creator of things involved in the world. I don't know how deep it went. We talked a bit about it, but I don't want to say things that are incorrect. Either way, we get Spurt, and Spurt dies instantly. Like, not instantly, but we learn about its caravan of weirdness. He's got a skunk and a thing of bees, or was it hornets and centipedes that have a centipult? Crazy stuff. I thought we might have him stick around for a bit, but it was a guess, so I'm like, all right, maybe we get an episode if we're lucky. 11 days. He dies at the age of 11 days. That is how long he said he'd live, and he did live that long. The fire giant hammered him in the head and killed his ass. He went Spurt, and then Chris literally got up and left. It was hilariously funny. I don't know what the intentions were originally, let's see how long Spurt lasts, but Spurt did cause his own death. Even though we put Spurt out there he did throw the hornets or the bees or whatever it was at the fire giants. So interesting, awesome. And then we get the fire giants for 45 minutes, barely even battled them. It was more of a strategic way of getting from one side to the other. Not, I wore the shirt because of not struggles, not hit the lava, died. Caduceus immediately healed. You know what I mean? Died, went unconscious. Caduceus healed. And we had Bo run over. Bo singed herself, very little damage, but we're all good now. We went through the thing. We started episode 51 in the live stream because we've been hitting 50 likes or more every week, but we're jumping into this. I did see it was Matt Mercer, and I think it was Sam. I could be wrong. I think it was Sam and Matt Mercer. I queued it up 2 hours ago, and then I was editing episode 11. I felt like I should get one of those out before I did this. So episode 11 just dropped of Vox Machina. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to get this edited up out to you guys. And then I'm going to do the finale either tonight or tomorrow, right before the Super Bowl. Let's jump in. You guys want to see more of what I do? Full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons out of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is in the description of every video. Hundreds of movies, hundreds of shows. We just started Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Death Note, Legend of Korra. These have the Patreon hour exclusive of every episode of Campaign 2. And all of Vox Machina Season 1 and 2 is up in full at this point. Check it out. If not, Talks Machina, Episode 50, The Endless Burrows. I think I saw Sam. I honestly am blanking, but I think it was Sam and Matt. It was definitely Matt.
We have some stats from our friends at Crit Roll Stats about episode 50. On this 50th episode, Ford got the 50th How Do You Want to Do This?
Oh, no way.
Hiccups. Oh, yeah.
Killing the Roper. How cool is that? 50
That
episodes,
was not Sam's
50 How
voice.
to Dirty Dirties.
I can't believe we didn't write it that way. That's
Oh,
crazy.
it's Taliesin.
We should
I
have,
didn't
made
see
sure
it
that
then.
was a thing.
I know.
I brought it
Maybe
up
I
on
just
the
saw
writing
Matt.
news,
Maybe
but,
that's what it was.
ever
I
since
think I
started
saw
going to
a
the
shot
Roper
of Brian
show.
like that. I think I saw that of Matt.
The
Because
Roper's
honestly, I
critical
don't
hit
remember
on
seeing
Caleb
him at all.
Would have one-shotted him.
I clicked
had
it for the
Caduceus not
card and I
reduced
saw
it
Matt.
with Sentinel at death's door.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
that actually would have...
Would it just knocked him unconscious, or would
Yeah.
it have killed?
No, not been caught. Well,
How much?
I don't remember.
no. I have to go look at what the damage would be, because if you take... I have to look at the rules again, but I believe if you take enough damage in one attack to equal your
Yeah, he
maximum
would
hit
have to have
points...
taken the full amount. He would have had
I'm
to take
turning it
enough
up a bit.
damage to knock him unconscious, and then on top of that, his entire HP. I think.
Yeah.
I did a handbook or helper about death saving throws.
Yeah.
I believe that that's the rule.
What is
So
going
nobody
on with
would've
all
killed
these
him.
knitted
They would've killed him
creatures
outright.
on
It would have
Danny's
burned a
desk?
very expensive spell to keep him alive at that point. It would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Is Caleb worth it to Caduceus to burn that super? Liam's still driving
question.
home.
Okay,
He's
next
not
question.
watching. He just left. He's still driving home.
Oh no.
He's still driving home, but he's probably listening.
Spurt.
He's on his way here. Spurt, going right into
Spurt is the
All right.
first on-screen guest player character death in the history of
Oh,
the
in
show.
the hit. I mean, I didn't see campaign 1 or 3, but I haven't
How did
seen
you
one
keep
yet.
that from us, by the way? That was so impressive.
That's our
That was it.
question.
That was the first
We'll
one.
get to that. We'll get to that
it.
question.
Okay, never mind.
you go.
I'm jumping the gun here.
Yeah, patience.
Spurt.
And he wants to get right into it. I would say it's the liquor, but it's too diluted.
Is it a barrel? It looks like Matt's drinking out of like a
Christopher
barrel.
Perkins, our beloved, was at the table for 22 minutes and 25 seconds.
22 minutes and 5 seconds.
so happy.
We were talking in the
Network
live
television
stream.
right there.
Somebody said set a clock. I didn't know
And
what we were
funnier,
dealing with. Oh, maybe that
tighter
is really
22
loud.
than
Maybe I should have left
any
it turned down.
comedy show I've
it's like-
seen.
it's
I
solid
didn't
episode
realize
of
there
Herman's
really
head
was a time
Dr. Herman.
that was going to
I
mean
went
something.
to Mary's on Friday night for our D&D game.
22
I
minutes,
walk
5
in
seconds.
the door, and Mary says, "Did you see Danny's tweet about Chris Perkins being the best guest of all time on Critical
deleted
Role?"
that, by the way.
She was not having it. She's like, "Danny and I like this." And now, next time I see her, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, "Shit, dude." But honestly, though, the best guest.
The best guest.
Burn so bright.
First question for you,
Zoom in
Matt.
on the Danny
It's
cam.
from our pal Kyle with an N.
God with an N.
How would you say that?
Kyle?
Kyle?
Oh, that's really, really close. It's Nile.
Niall.
Oh, there we go.
Kyle
Can
with
you
an
walk
N.
us through the
Niall.
process of how
We've
Chris
had this many
Perkins
times,
got the
right?
shortest-lived guest spot in Critical Role history?
How did they
the
say it?
process was pretty
Niall.
simple.
How did they say it?
I wasn't aware that Chris was going to be in town until the very last minute, and he.
Maybe we'll
asked if he
find
could watch
out
the
more
show
about
since he's in for that
how
Thursday night. And
Spurt
was like, oh yeah, totally,
Was
come on by
supposed to
and
go
hang out
if
with us.
it wasn't that.
Always welcome. And I prepared this Kobold encounter and this particular Kobold to be just an NPC character that I was going to play as part of the encounter and see how long they traveled with him. If they would have, made it a very positive encounter or a very negative one. I was curious to see how the Mighty Nine would react to this entity.
That was great. So he
after
kind of
I
just
was driving to the
happened.
studio to get ready for the show that night, and as I'm in my car, I'm thinking, no, I mean, you guys were even texting me going like, wait, is Perkins guesting tonight? I'm like, no, he's not guesting. He's just coming to watch the
Because
show.
everybody showed up and he's in the lobby,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "What?"
Yeah, but on the way there, I was like, you know what?
You guys said he did in
I think
campaign
this would
one,
be a
I
lot
think,
of fun.
too.
And I'll
So
if
it's
he's
not like
interested,
it
I'll throw him
is
in there and let him
weird
play
to
the
ask
character
that.
and do
Not
whatever
that
he
it
wants
would
with
be, but
So when I got here and we got talking for a bit, I pulled him off to the side room and was like, hey, so if you're interested and you want to pop in for a bit, be probably a little later in the session, but this is a Kobold inventor from the stat block is actually from the book. I was like, would you be interested in playing this character? He's like, okay, well, we started talking about what the Kobolds sound like in my world, and
Which is fucking amazing. by
Yeah.
the
like
way.
Muppets.
so much fun.
That was
Lots
hilarious.
of
But yeah,
talk
and-
of Jim
and
Henson and
very, very little guidance, and
80s
he came up with the name
fantasy
Spurt,
in the live stream
and,
last night.
After that, I was like, all right, cool. You'll know when to jump in.
Yeah.
And so I sat on the side, and it was everything I hoped it would be. I wasn't sure if Spurt was going to continue on with them, and if he did, I would take over when Chris had to leave.
That's what I
for a few
thought.
episodes
My
and
guess
such.
was
He
that
would've
Matt
established the
planned on
character.
just taking over if
but
need
instead,
be.
he played Spurt true. To live as he was meant to live, very briefly.
Yes.
And
Candle in the wind.
it was majestic.
How long have you been down here? 11
He
days.
was smashed.
How long is the lifespan of a Kobold?
And then pieces of him were
So
falling
funny.
11
God, I
days.
love that guy.
Was that?
You know, I
He's a
asked him-
treasure.
I asked him after the episode that night, I said, do you want to come on Talks this week? And he patted me on the back and he said, that's great. Taliesin, porno lesbian, wants to know.
I want to know if that is
Caduceus has a strong
his
connection
intentions
with
or
nature,
if he
especially organic
misheard
material.
Brian.
Is being underground for so long putting him on edge, or does he perceive it as just another part of the Wild Mother's glory?
He is getting used to it. He is definitely out of his element, but he's in his element but out of his element. So he's definitely. I imagine there's a lot of closing your eyes and deep breathing. So he's looking for things to be excited about. Not a lot of things to be excited about down here. It's kind of awful. And he also is noticing that in this place that he is very useful.
We
so he's
were
definitely
through.
feeling. I tried.
When
I tried to
in
push him
episode
a little bit
51,
more of
we
a
did get
tactical
through.
head on him and just let him be kind of a center of like, okay, I'm
Just
going to be
wanna make
taking
sure
care of
everything
things. This is what I'm
right.
supposed to do. This is back at home fighting off whatever the hell got into the garden. So
Yeah.
So yeah, he's on edge, but it's a healthy edge. He's not against it.
Yeah.
And it's better than being on the ocean at the moment.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Lava though, lava. Ugh.
Ooh.
Better than being on the ocean.
So glad. I love
Not
all
a
the
fan of
shit.
lava.
Oh, it's fun.
I mean, I'm obviously not happy about. Matt.
Yeah.
My Tia man, my we got there. Why do you keep
We got
referring
there.
to it
My
as
Tia
Underground
man.
instead of Underdark?
I like
Is this
it.
a
My
personal
Tia man.
choice, or are your players not truly in the Underdark yet?
They're not truly in the Underdark yet. They're not deep enough to really break into the real terrible, horrible Underdark of Wildmount. They're skimming bits of it.
People have talked about this in
and
live
those are,
streams.
like,
The
moment
Underdark.
they had with the Ropers was kind of like a little taste. The Fire Giants is another aspect of it they've broken into, but this was, partially because of just the nature of it being
Is
a
it like-
fast-track broing.
I'm assuming
that
it's
was
like a
created by
more
the Queen to get
powerful
there.
world. Like you can't just
They weren't going to do the
screw
full
around.
path through.
You got to
So
be
it's
like
treacherous for them too,
pretty
on a
hardcore to
military
survive
journey if
the
they have a
Underdark.
means of doing so. So it made more logistic sense to be like on the cusp between the two. So it kind of dips between the two of them. They haven't even really scratched the surface of the true terrors of the Underdark.
Just the monorail. We're just riding the monorail.
Did they do anything with it in campaign one?
Yeah, and you guys did pretty heavy
you guys
Underdark-
probably told me in the
Underdark
live
last
stream when we
campaign.
talked about it.
I didn't want to tread immediately into the same territory. It all just made sense to go this route.
Yeah.
Who knows in the future if it'll take you there? There are still a lot of things to discover in the Underdark that down the road maybe. If that's where
I
the
feel
path
like
takes you, but this particular one does not go
things
that
I am very excited
well,
with
it
where
would
we're
be.
going. I have hopes and
I was
dreams.
gonna say
don't
it'd
know
be
if they're
funny
actually
if
gonna
like
get fulfilled,
one
but
day
I'm
they're like,
very
you know what,
excited.
screw it.
love it.
Let's just keep going until we like all are dead.
So good.
We'll just like keep pushing until we like literally. We're just not gonna go back, not heal.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Forget your
heal,
best
but
friend
you know
just
what I
said
mean.
that
No
with an answer to
resting,
this
just
question
push
from
through.
Nate.
I mean, it
Mormon.
would be over very
Not
quickly.
Mormon.
But it'd be interesting how far we'd get.
Maybe Mormon. As a very open character, how does Caduceus feel about all these people who are so closed off and deceitful being his companions? Is he enjoying seeing them finally begin to let some of those skeletons out of their closets?
They're not closed off and deceitful. I mean, they
Yeah,
are.
how does he view them?
They are, but he sees them as just people who have not had the appropriate life experience to. They're not people from a place where that option is available. He's just making that option available for a bunch of people who really need it. And yeah, that's the thing is as much as he's like a hermit character, it's not like he didn't have interactions with people all the time, because people would come to the temple and he would have conversations with people all the time, and part of the training of being at that temple was learning to talk to people.
That's just water, by the way.
And make them feel better about things and like help people open up. So this is just such an extension of what he was doing beforehand on that level.
The solitary therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about the outside world. What part of it that I do not understand hurt you?
Solitary therapy.
Yeah. No.
I dig it.
Yeah. No. He's. I mean, like, so this is nothing new to him.
I said it before, but
He's-
Matt's.
He
I dig Matt's
really
mug.
likes them. He really, really likes them.
Where'd you get that mug?
On the internet.
It's beautiful.
I'm talking about Matt's mug,
Wow.
and he.
It's got a rock
I mean,
on
that's
it
cool
in a
too.
wonderfully both convenient and awkward way.
Yeah, well,
It's my whole gig, convenient yet awkward.
I dig it.
what else was good
Convenient yet
Spurt-wise?
awkward.
Oh,
man.
how many points of damage did he take?
I
at
think
the
Brian
end?
psychically
20-something,
heard
I
it
think.
because he
21 or
commented
28.
on
How many
it
did
just
he
like
have?
me.
He had like 12 hit points.
Yeah, because my favorite was like, all right, you take 21 points.
12
of
hit
damage, and he
points.
goes,
I think you guys said around 10.
He just threw the
12.
bees at the giant. And said, you die! You die! It was so good. Oh, Chris made me so happy.
I was like, how is he going
He
to
just
do
like
that voice for the rest
So, I mean,
of the
hey,
night?
if Matt had any other ideas, I mean, he could always
22
come up with another
Well,
one
that
or
was
something.
part of my whole creation of the NPC that became Spurt, and the challenge with the fire giants was it wasn't meant to be a battle encounter. It was meant to be a try and escape, get by.
Yeah.
But now they have this loud, extremely squishy kobold that hopefully they've had some level of like mild bonding with, just kind of how I wanted to engineer it, and see if they were able to get him across. and make that kind of an additional part of the challenge of
yeah.
do we leave him behind? Now we have to get him across if we want him to continue to escort us or lead us through this tunnel.
I mean, it ended very
no,
quickly, but it was
no,
cool.
just right out of the gate.
Right out the gate, literally.
Just was not. He was like, nope. I'm gonna burn hard, fast.
Magical
It was
falsetto on that character
beautiful.
too. It was
That
beautiful.
was.
So good.
That was fucking genius.
Like maybe Chris Perkins
This one's
didn't
for
want to
both
stick
of you.
around too
Watch me
long
nail this.
because I feel like he
Elizabeth
had to have known that was not going to
Quintanilla.
end good. So he could have hung around a little longer.
Elizabeth,
I feel like
tweet
if
me. I
he,
think you'll find
but
I'm
he,
right.
Matt was saying he played the character
And if not,
true.
I apologize for him.
Can only apologize for him so
Yeah,
much.
really sorry.
How does it feel watching all the sadness pour out of Caleb and Nott's backstories? Taliesin, how does Caduceus feel about it?
Oh man,
This is for both of you, but you can.
that's rough, buddy.
That's how Caduceus feels.
You know,
that's
it's
rough.
when you
Sorry
start
about
from your
that.
lowest that you really gotta eventually climb to your highest heights. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up, really, at that point. Yeah, no, I don't think Clay fully comprehends how bad this all is. I don't know if he really. I think it's just like.
I
oh,
think
that
he
looks
is.
really sad.
I
I don't know if
100%.
he's
That's how I
really-
thought he'd react.
I don't know if he can comprehend art film horror.
Yeah, right.
You know, just pure existential horror. I think might be slightly beyond him.
He's like, they're going through a rough time.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's like the cat could die. I'd be like, oh, that's rough, man.
God, I love Caduceus.
I know.
Life, death. What are you gonna do?
It's like that
Fred
shit
Tatasciore
just
the
happens.
party.
That's what it is. It's like, are we supposed to make a huge deal out of it? It's like that's
Fred
life.
Tatasciore. Holy shit.
People die, cats die.
Oh boy.
6 words.
Yeah, that's,
And is there a better compliment?
no, that is.
I mean it as a compliment.
Thank you. No, I love Fred. That
God
is
damn
very
it.
Fred
I
Tatasciore.
love that I live in a world where
What
I get
is
to run
on
into him
Matt's shirt?
sometimes because
Power
it is a
something?
day changer.
Yeah.
It is like,
For those who don't know, Fred Tatasciore is an extremely talented voice actor for many years. He's like the voice of the Hulk for all of Marvel's animated
Yes.
stuff. He's also the voice of Soldier
Fred
76 in Overwatch. He's in a
Tatasciore.
billion things.
everything.
And he's just a very
Just.
big, tall, laid-back Caduceus.
He's totally a
Like-
big, tall, laid-back
No,
Caduceus.
he's just nice about everything. and
yeah.
just- he's happy
at
to see
Brian.
you. and he's
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
God, it's great that you're.
This big kind of tall hobbit
I
kind
heard
of
you've been
dude.
doing all that Dungeons and Dragons, and that's just
That's
great.
That's just great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I feel like this is
Somebody
coming off
that when you
complimentary,
walk- that
but
when you see
also
him, you're just immediately like, I need a
It might
hug
be-
from him.
Yeah.
he seems like a good dude. Seems complimentary. He seems like a good
Yogi
dude.
Bear. He's
Yeah.
just this big.
He's the size of Trinket.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still my
He's the
favorite
size-
He's the
NPC
size of
interaction that's
Trinket.
ever happened on the show. I'm sorry, Mary.
Yep.
Oh man.
is the blacksmith who just wanted a hug. It was
Bel-
the
boy.
Balam.
It made
What's
sense. now,
Balam?
character, yeah.
It's Fred now, just because like every time I see Fred.
I say all the time, I would love that
Fred,
trinket.
man.
Thank you for
That is like
subconsciously being my
not just because I
character.
love trinket. That is like a
To answer that
badass
question,
bear.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
as far as like stuffed
Yeah,
giant
Fred
bears
Tatasciore,
go,
yes.
that's pretty
No,
freaking gnarly.
You know, and everyone gave me their character backstories. You know, they'd written kind of their character's history before the game. There were a handful of the characters. I was like, wow, this is going to be some pretty dark stuff when we get around to it. And it was just amazing to watch those two kind of collide as they began to weave the story and the paths they were going in the direction of the conflict. And it was an opportunity for me to go ahead and, you know, because you don't want to end up having like a whole story where every single person's background comes into it in a way that's just like a stage around them for a section and a stage around them.
Yeah.
Then it becomes very kind of paint by numbers. And
cart
it's
crash.
interesting.
You got
But
a cart crash.
is
That
so
was
much more
amazing.
delicious.
That was amazing. It was fun. Like I couldn't believe that hadn't been like that. It was like that watching the two of them do that weird moment of you know, I'm Brian. No, I'm Brian. I'm Brian, and so's my wife. And I'm like, whoa! And they were both freaking out at each other. It was
amazing.
great.
Is that
I mean,
from
so
something?
amazing.
So to
I'm
answer
Brian,
the question,
and
I was
so is
excited.
my wife.
Yeah.
There.
I feel like that is from
Why
something.
do you think people's
doing
backstories
fan art.
always end up
I
being
can see
not always,
his
but
hands
for
are
the most
free.
like in our home game when they turned in all the backstories, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because a lot of people who don't have like people who's like my friends' parents aren't dead. They weren't like, you know, royalty and whatever else. They have a great life, but then coming into the game, it's like I'm in a dump. Is it because it's a totally different
Happy people are. It's harder to make an interesting happy.
Brian
person.
was all over the place. I feel like with
I mean,
that.
it's not impossible. And
I'm 2 in now.
I've played in games. You have.
Yeah.
I've played in games and had characters that, their life of adventure was purely based on wanderlust and curiosity and wanting to make a name for themselves in a world where they felt maybe, insecure about their place and that they had something to say and show. But more often than not, the life of an adventurer is a very dangerous one.
So something had to have propelled them into.
In a lot of cases, it feels natural to find something in their history to give them enough reason to leave behind the safety of day-to-day life to go delve into deep, underground, dangerous dungeon
I didn't realize.
catacombs
Look
and fight
at Taliesin's
terrible
hand.
monstrosities and abominations.
I didn't realize it was
for
in
the
the
hope
cuff
a little
of
bit
his
gold.
pants,
Yeah.
and it looked like he had his hand down.
It's
his
common
pants.
for people to
just
gravitate
looked
towards elements of that.
inappropriate. I was
Plus,
like, what
it
is
makes
happening
for
over there?
interesting, kind of cathartic role-playing experiences for people if maybe they're going through tough times or they want to find a point in the story where they can work through something that they themselves are kind of having a hard time with. It's not uncommon for people to create some sort of hidden duality between something their characters struggling with and something that they themselves may be privately struggling with.
Yeah.
And this story
That
in this game
Mercer
becomes a way for them to kind of
Seduced me again.
deal with it in a healthier way.
I get
or
lost
have a better
in his
perspective
talk.
on it, on how to make steps towards improving it. Or even just to work through the emotions of it, have a good, cry, break down, and feel better
Cathartic.
about it. So yeah,
Right.
There's many reasons, but there's a lot of really tragic D&D characters
Yep.
out there.
Yep. I don't know, Taliesin. I feel like he danced around answering my question.
Yeah, that was a long walk to nowhere.
A masterful walk to nowhere.
You can hit him.
If
Matt,
only
I'll
you were
let
loosened up by some nice,
Honestly,
neat
though,
scotch.
if he didn't answer it, he did an amazing job because it literally captivated me every second.
Into a dungeon because he has a hard time
What is
forming
it?
meaningful
Oh my God, it's got to be some
relationships
sort
with
of
people.
whiskey or
know.
bourbon.
So you got to do what you can.
Sometimes there's a man.
What is that?
No,
Pass it
go on.
over
Yeah,
to
pass that over.
Fred Tavish.
What is
Really
it?
good. The only thing it's missing is a little Coke.
Max, can we end?
Chaser.
A Mountain Dew, yeah, some Cactus Cooler in
can
there.
end
It'd be
there?
amazing.
Cactus cool. Jesus Christ. Taliesin?
summer camp drunk, man.
Summer camp drunk.
Matt, I'm going to make you stop talking by answering this question. Evan Litvik, what was it like playing the Kobolds during the episode compared to reading lines for
I would have
Kobolds?
pounded that whole glass.
I mean, it's hard.
You
not to
guys
pull
see how
inspiration
that
from
that
I
to
mean,
me
kobolds
is
are
like
kobolds. They're these
that's a
tiny
shot.
little
I would be like,
barking,
Taliesin just
dragonoid
took it. I was gonna
creatures and-
say.
No, you could have had it this way. Matt's answering your
I
question.
literally was like, Taliesin's
and
not giving
so-
it back, and Brian's
they're-
probably.
they're-
If
they're
Brian's
yippee.
like me, I'd be like, yo,
And my
you can
interpretation
try
of it,
Give me
based
my
on just size and
frickin'
demeanor,
shit back.
because they're menacing and they can be terrifying, but also weirdly adorable, depending on how you want to play it and where what the history of that kobold clan may be. So yeah, I mean, like, you get to a certain point where we're like, for Kobolds and Catacombs, I've done a number of different kobold voices in a similar range, and I mean, I have limitations, so
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I'll hit a point here where, you know what, this is a comfortable pocket. It conveys what I need to for the characters. And those who have played Kobolds and Catacombs, it's a nice little Easter egg for you.
Yep.
I was going to say,
Kobolds
anything you can hold for
and
2 hours is
catacombs.
kind of the, can I hold this voice for 2 hours and not die?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was wondering about Knott's voice the first episode of the
Oh,
campaign.
as soon as he opened up with that, we were like, Sam, what are you doing, buddy? Right. And you can watch it kind of adjust over the first few episodes to a more comfortable place, and it was like, okay.
What was he actually said it too? He says,
He
I
called
get.
himself out on it as soon as he started talking.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yep.
guess this is what I'm doing now.
He was like, oh yeah, 2 years,
You're
baby.
gonna hurt yourself.
What an asshole.
Was it one of the Force Grays or something where Hardwick did a voice and then immediately was like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that voice?
I think so, yeah.
I did that in our first home game. The first night, I'm like, it was a British accent. You guys know how.
Your British
Oh, it's
accent
fantastic.
is,
Show
is
me an
amazing.
example.
It's flawless.
We've heard it, right?
No.
Definitely. I feel like we've.
Only
I feel like
Laura
he's done it
Bailey-
on Talks
only
Machina.
Heart music, Laura Bailey can get me to do my British accent.
Okay, next talk she's on.
I feel
Yeah,
like he's
no.
done it once. He's definitely done accents on
Taliesin.
Talks before.
Paper Volcano wants to know. Those don't last long.
They don't.
Paper
Burn bright.
When Caduceus started traveling with the Mighty Nine, you described him as unhealthily skinny. After spending months traveling with the Nein, how's he doing?
Oh, he's a vegan on the road. He's not looking better. It's just- if you've ever taken a
That was at Sundance.
Oh, I know.
He's not looking better.
If you've ever taken a road trip with a vegan, then you know that they're like the minute you get to the places where they're like, we don't have vegetables here, and you're like, what are you gonna eat, man? They're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the lettuce that comes with the burger. And you're like, oh boy.
Yep.
We should have packed better. Yeah.
Find a field to graze in.
He's still a little lanky.
I feel like if you
Not a
can't
lot of
have
muscle on that boy.
I mean, if you guys
vegan
ended up,
protein
say,
shakes
in
and
Underdark
stuff
for
in
3
this
weeks,
world,
what would he do?
like a
I
medieval
don't think he
type
necessarily
fantasy
needs
world,
sunlight. He's not really like.
I think you might have to
he's
just
pretty pale and
bite
I
the
meant for
bullet and
food.
eat stuff you don't
He can
want to
make his
eat
own.
just
I
to
make
stay
my own.
healthy.
Oh, that's right.
Magic, motherfucker.
That's right.
I mean, I guess
It's
you got
basically
beliefs
tofu.
and stuff.
I can actually make it's basically tofu.
I feel like it'd
45
be
pounds of-
really hard. Like he's saying, it's like it's almost
tofu.
That's going to be
a
the
massive
we're practically
detriment.
gods of this campaign. Is
Yeah.
Caduceus telling people it's basically
It's
tofu.
basically tofu. I love it. I love because they actually describe it in the manual as like
it's basically
kind
tofu.
of very bland and like tasteless. Like it's almost garnished. It's just
Yeah.
Like
I couldn't.
It's
My God, if I lived back
the
then,
semi-firm
like
that comes in
right
a little
now,
liquid
there's
package.
ribs
Yeah.
cooking.
You need to do something.
I'm
to
gonna
it.
when I'm done with this, I'm
Tiny
gonna go
edible
eat like
gelatinous
3
cube.
pounds
Yep,
of ribs.
It's
Meat
wow.
is
Gelatinous meal.
It's gelatinous.
I eat it all the
gelatinous cube
time.
in a
I
pack.
could
love
not
it.
eat meat like every day. Like
Matt,
almost every
yes,
meal I have
Townsend
is
SW
chunks
wants to
of
know.
meat. I'm probably gonna.
So far, we've seen a mid-level
explode.
party descend into the Underdark in search of a halfling, briefly befriend a doomed native, and almost lose a rogue's foot to lava. Any more callbacks in the works?
Completely unintentional. Like I didn't even think about it until people started calling it out on the internet. I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Gotta steal somebody's shoes now. Yeah.
I didn't know they were gonna go in the tunnels. I wish I could show you my notes for like the session after the reveal. I had so many things planned for like if they go to Zadash, if they go to this place, if they go to this place to figure out like allies and get information and figure out what to do. And they just went right down the tunnels, and I hadn't have anything planned for the tunnels.
I think we are
Like
very
they do
late
technical
for
things,
fan
but,
art.
when
It's
you play
almost
the game
30
and the
minutes
players
in.
want to go a direction and it makes sense, you allow them to go that way.
Yeah.
Make it challenging. But they found a way to
So
honey
much can
badger
go
their way
horribly
through a
wrong.
wall. I know, and so it took it in a different direction. And
Honey badger.
So yeah,
our way
I
through
wasn't
a
planning
wall.
for it to go the way as it occasionally happens, and a lot of this was just kind of. When you're preparing a game, find out what makes
Power,
sense for the
courage,
next endeavor, the next
wisdom.
encounter,
What is
the next
that?
challenge, the next pathway. And I
don't
was
know
skirting
what that
above the
is
Underdark because I didn't want to
referencing.
tread into familiar territory. And then
Right.
all these like subtle parallels began to pop out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't escape it.
Nope.
So, oh well.
Which is crazy because the writers didn't even see the first campaign.
Jesus.
No, never.
The writing jokes never end.
Hey, Taliesin. Fraulein Chimera wants to know. Have you and Battle Mercy, Laura, agreed that Caduceus is the healer of the two clerics, or is that something that just comes more naturally to Caduceus than to
Well, like,
Chester?
clerics are like.
I think anybody,
bards in the sense
it
that,
comes
like,
more
you can get
natural
a
than
lot of
Jester.
There's a lot of variance.
Everybody,
in
like
those
yesterday,
magic
people
sets,
were
and
like
he's
not doing
by the
good,
great cleric
and instead, I
build
mean,
is just
what she did ended up
far
being
more
helpful. But
inclined
I
than
think
a
she just
trickster.
will do
Trickster
anything to
cleric
not
is
heal.
supposed to be a little bit more of a toolkit, whereas he's a medikit. Like there's definitely some stuff that he can do, but like he's really. Any time that I'm doing damage, I'm probably not doing my job. like any time that I shouldn't really be doing damage. I should be doing
No,
everything
I
else
understand
otherwise.
that. Yeah, I understand that feeling.
And she should be doing. She should be having effects on the battlefield, but also holding healing in the back pocket too.
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying
having
does
two
make
of us.
sense.
Between the two of us, we can.
Jester
cover
in
that.
general
I think
is
we
just
can do some weird
more
stuff
of that
on the
kind of
battlefield.
cleric.
I've got like that cancel that I can do to a critical hit. And
That was cool.
yeah, I can do that so many times.
Yeah, what is it, like
I was
4 or
like, oh,
5
short
per
rest.
long
No.
rest?
No, yeah, like I can do it 5 times
about
per
that.
5 times per long rest,
Wow.
as long as I'm within 30 feet.
Yeah,
of
that
the
was
victim.
crazy.
Damn front.
5
Hey, don't
times
tell
per
him that.
long. That's like crazy.
Matt, you've already done horrible things
Yeah,
to Taliesin.
I don't want to.
I mean, the radius does factor in.
I'm just gonna say,
but I still think that
I've
Caduceus
learned
got
my
some
lesson,
crazy
and I have like
abilities.
3 new good ideas ready to go.
Oh boy.
For either this campaign or the next. I'm like, I've got some stuff in there. Just saying. Although Laura will have to learn how to use healing spells again. And that won't be the same.
No, she's gonna love that.
No.
Matt,
Yes?
Boffleslop wants to know.
That's a great name.
Baffle
It is.
slop.
You've said
I gotta see
character
it.
death works
Baffle
best when
slop.
it's narratively fulfilling. How would you rate Spurts?
Oh, top class. I mean,
Yeah.
We should go
that's,
home now.
that is the most fulfilling character death I think I could have ever hoped for. It's a
It was
complete
good.
character arc. Like you got a mini campaign in 22 minutes. It
That
was
was
amazing.
so good.
A mini campaign in 22
11
minutes.
days.
11 days of Spurt.
11 days of Spurt. I wish we could have seen all 11.
You know,
Imagine,
They weren't dissimilar.
imagine
Hey,
the first 2 days.
I got it. I mean,
it
if
was
you
a lot
think
of
about it in
crawling.
the
A lot of
larger scheme of
crawling,
things,
yeah.
Spurt
Collecting all that
evolved
shit. You
very
collected all that
quickly.
shit
In
11 days.
Yeah.
in 11 days, Spurt got all that shit.
Yeah. I wish we had to
get
pick
that
I
far
know.
below the
That's a lot of-
ground.
that's a
And he
lot
had
of
enough
bird.
intelligence
he
to
probably
get to
killed
where
some
he was,
people
even
and,
though it wasn't
took it
much
from him.
You
intelligence.
think that people already had a skunk on them?
11
and he just
days?
Killed some people
I
and
think-
found.
Oh, I
and
thought you said
got-
stuff.
At
I
11
didn't hear you
days,
say
No, I said
skunk.
I think
Oh,
I
I
was
think
still
he found
in
us
a
on
in a
defiling
box in
and
a
already dead
hospital or
corpse.
something.
Okay.
That's solid.
Thank you.
That's solid.
very
But,
Taliesin.
I think they send you
are
home after
skunks
3
and-
days,
I
so
don't
I
know
wasn't
enough
in a
about
box in a
skunks to really
hospital.
I know a bit
answer
about
this
skunks.
question.
But
Are they
I'm sure I
burrowers?
wasn't
'Cause he is
collecting
underground. Kobolds don't really
bees
go
and
above
skunks.
ground. I also don't really know
the
enough
skunks
about
might-
Kobolds can go above ground and below ground. They can come from many different
I'm
locations.
not saying they
and
can't. I'm just was wondering if
It's possible
I've never known a skunk to I'm sure skunks can slightly burrow, but the ones in my neighborhood do not. They to be fair, they walk around like they own the fucking place.
I'm
so.
just curious.
To answer your question,
I would agree. I get skunks around
Spurt
all the
has a
time,
skunk
and they just
in
kind
the
of like
same
run around,
way
almost like
that all
raccoons
the
or
other
foxes.
kobolds
I get
in the
all of
11
them.
days that Spurt's been
Raccoons,
alive
foxes,
have said
skunks,
to each other quietly
deer,
when Spurt's not paying attention.
constantly. Bears. Had a few bears.
I think it's legitimately a mystery within the community of kobolds, and something
We've had a
that,
few
that
kobolds.
only Arthur C. Clarke would have known.
He found a magic jar that once a day deposits a skunk. It's just like
Yep.
How lovely.
fucking skunk.
It's the alchemy jug, but
Yeah.
it's the jug of skunks.
Skunks.
The skunk jug.
jug.
Skunks,
of
squirrels, and
skunks.
otters, and he just like, it's skunk day. Shit.
That's
You
true.
try it after a long rest. You get an otter.
Yeah.
That's a very unhappy otter.
That's
He's
pretty
underground.
Oh my
but
gosh.
There is kind of an item like that.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
It's dandy, man.
They're all scratching their heads.
Yeah.
Taliesin, Goalstab wants to know, what did Caduceus think about
This
the
is
romance
definitely the
novel as it was
longest
being read aloud?
We've
Did he
ever
enjoy
waited
it?
for fan art.
didn't-
Is there
yeah,
not?
he
Wait,
did
did they
enjoy
say?
it.
Is there no more
I
fan
don't
art?
think he entirely
He
understood
might have
what the
said
point
I was
no
gonna
more
say,
fan
does he
art
know
or
what they're
something?
talking? What they're referencing?
Maybe I'm
he's
thinking
aware of
crazy.
it, but it doesn't. It hasn't really like it. No, it has not entirely clicked. No, he's aware that's they're doing the hanky panky stuff. That's great, but like.
Doesn't phase
That
him.
good old hanky
Yeah,
panky stuff.
Hanky-panky stuff.
It's not really in his wheelhouse.
When two people really love each other.
There's hanky
They
panky.
hanky panky all over each other.
That's
what she meant.
And you turn yourself around.
All right. All right.
And you turn yourself
All
around.
right. Let's not go down that road. You put your left foot in. Matt,
That was a good one to end it on, Brian.
the show's not over, Dan.
Oh my
Bad
god.
Skills wants to know.
Bad skills.
They got bad skills.
That sounds like a Rob Liefeld character.
I feel like my shirt.
How proud
was
were you to
pinching
see
me
the
and I
Mighty
wanted to
Nine come
cry.
up with a good plan to avoid the
How
Giants? How sad were you
I
to
also
derail it in
smoked
2
a lot
rolls?
of weed. If I'm acting
Yeah,
odder
yes,
than usual.
very
I had
and
an edible
very.
and I smoked a lot
Yeah.
of weed.
It was a great plan. You know, it was you all pulled in your skills for fast movement. I was very proud of you all, and it was honestly, if not, hadn't rolled so low, legitimately just on the threshold of the passive perceptions of both giants. I was like, as the master of stealth with advantage from invisibility.
And she had advantage like out the freaking wazoo
Yeah.
because she had invisibility, she had that cloak, and she had the blessing.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Not that it matters. Yeah, because it's still advantage.
But that just shows as a testament how bad Sam is as a player.
Yeah, you know.
Sam
He's also
Regal,
over- is that
the
no
every
worst
episode, we're just like,
player.
Sam's
right there.
Play
Ever.
hard, bud.
Yeah.
My last campaign's final episodes will tell you that.
Real.
Yeah, but once again, those are my favorite D&D moments sometimes too.
Yeah.
You can plan terribly and just wing it, and it's a terrible idea. And sometimes the dice work for you, and it turns out okay, and you're like, that was a magnificent clusterfuck. Oh my God, we'll talk about this for forever. Then you have the moments where you're like, all right, no worries, we got this. You do this, you do this, you do this. All right, great, roll. Well,
Yep.
we're fucked now, and you'll talk about that for forever. You know,
Yeah.
so like it's
Yeah, it's the same. No plan survives contact with the enemy.
yeah.
it's
So.
I've never heard
it
that
sucked,
before.
but it made for a
I like
very
that.
cinematic and intense encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
What was that quote?
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Is that what you guys would tell each other back in the Spanish Civil War? I was trying to think of a really old war, Steve. What's another really old war?
Spanish Civil War is the Carpathians. I mean, come on.
Napoleon? I don't think Napoleon was a war. Steve. I think it was
Carpathians?
a person.
I
We
know
need to
that
let
from
Steve read more
Napoleonic
books.
Bill
The
Murray.
Napoleonic Wars, World Wars.
The Napoleonic
It was
Wars?
one of the
yeah, there you go. It's also coming to the
civilizations
Sci-Fi Channel. Taliesin,
and that was in
Brain Blow X
the
wants
building
to
that.
know.
What was it?
What
was the
feat
name?
did Caduceus take?
I can't think
Which
of the
were
name
you considering?
of the guy.
I sat through and read through the whole book, and I didn't even. I kind of tried to go through some of the other weird feats just to see what was around. Although they've got some really interesting racial-specific feats. but
Shandor's
that's
building.
Nothing really applied. I went with Warcaster.
Smart.
Which, yeah, after having, I actually, I'll give a shout out to between Danny Carr and Sam DeLev, who are the two best tactical thinkers I know when it comes to RPGs. I was like, this seems to be
Oh, wait,
in
no.
character and
Vigo was a
useful.
Carpathian.
Yeah.
Which
I know,
was
I'm still on
which was the
Ghostbusters.
kind of the
Vigo
meditative. I've
from
got this, I'm not
Ghostbusters
gonna
2
be
was a
thrown by things,
Carpathian.
Everything's fine. But yeah,
Tell me what it does.
Warcaster, the big thing that it does a few little things, but the big thing is you get advantage on concentration checks.
Yeah. So if you have a spell you're
Warcaster.
concentrating on and you take damage, you can manage to try and maintain
Advantage.
it, which is great.
Yeah, advantage on concentration checks, which is just ridiculous.
It's also cool.
Yeah. Go, the other thing you can do is you
I have to
is
see it in
changes the way
action
that your
because I think
reactions
what
work.
he already
you can
does
take
is
a reactionary
ridiculous.
hit. You can use
In
a
a- in
spell
great
as long as
ways.
that spell is a single target spell.
So when you have an opportunity attack against somebody, normally you would have to just hit him with your staff or whatever.
Hit you with my stick.
But with that feat, he can cast a spell as a reaction opportunity.
Oh.
That's how you'll leave
Okay.
when Burt Reynolds tells you to leave was able to happen with the Bigby's hand.
You'll leave when Burt Reynolds.
As long as it has a single, as long as it has a single focus, then it's fine. Then you
Yeah,
can just
single
do it.
target and action casting.
Yeah. Wow.
Casting time.
It's pretty cool.
That's
It's
awesome.
pretty
I can't
cool.
wait to see it in action.
Yes, there
Yeah,
you
we're
go.
gonna-
See,
yeah,
Brian
I'm
is
hoping,
repeating me
not
like
for
we're
Wells, but I'm
psychically
hoping-
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You don't want to end up in.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Nothing.
We're getting
we're
something.
going to give away fan art of the week. With no gift of the week this week, but fan art of the week.
Fan art of the week.
Did he say that last week? Because I felt like I heard that, and I'm looking like it's been a long. We're almost 40 minutes in.
This week's
We
fan
haven't
art
had
winner for
anything.
Campaign 2, Episode 50, was sent in by Sarah Drews at Larimonium.
Larimonium. Let's see it. Fan art. I like the art better anyway. Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh man, look at the shot in the
so
back.
close to making that leap.
I want to play that game. That's an 8-bit game I want to play.
I know.
Right.
That is an 8-bit game I want to
I love
play.
the fire giant in the
NES,
background.
Nintendo original 8-bit system.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
A lot of not art recently. The one with
God.
not
Looks amazing.
Didn't really get to
And
hit anybody with
Veth
the shields. I'm sad
in
about
the
that.
Thing
water.
scared the bejesus out of me.
Should.
I like the
That's
fan art
scary.
better than the
That thing
gifts.
was
The
like,
gifts
why
are
you
cool,
filling your shield with
but some of them,
magma? What?
I mean,
What?
it's they're
He was a
different. Let's just say
dick.
that.
Oh,
I like the
you,
art
big
because
guy.
you could
I
like
know,
you could
it's
just
I
sit
was
and
with
stare
you.
at it and admire it in 100 different ways.
Well, thank you to
The gifts are
everyone
good
who
too,
submitted.
but I'd rather the fan art.
Congrats to you, Sarah. You have won this.
Brian stole it.
Custom, oh, shit.
Bolivian rosewood
Custom
engraved.
Valentine's Day dice vault. Now, you can get one of these customized with 5 different wood and inlay options,
Nice.
and your own message translated in Elvish. They'll arrive before Valentine's Day if
What does it say?
you order before February 7th, which is this Thursday, right?
I think so, yeah.
And there's no Critical Role this Thursday. So instead, order your significant other an Elvish
That's not bad.
delight from our friends
From
at
Wormwood?
Gaming. That's not what they're called. Wormwoodgaming.com. Also, you can enter our weekly contest by emailing your GIF or fan art to submit
What does it say? Submit.
at talksmachina.com. Rules for our contest are available at critroll.com.
It's true.
Marisha, are you drawing over there?
I'm practicing my pub drawing.
You're practicing your drawings? Oh,
Marisha.
Makes me
Eyebrows.
it's
so
looking
happy.
good.
Like I'll walk by every now and then, and she'll just be there practicing drawing, and I haven't seen her draw in a long time, so it makes me really
awesome.
excited.
I've never seen you draw up until recently. This
When we
is
first started
crazy.
dating, she showed me some of the sketches she used to do, and so like it's been
It
really
makes
great
me
to watch
really
her get
excited.
back into
That's
it. It
cute.
makes me happy.
That's cute. Oh, look how excited it. That's lovely.
Yay!
Look at that. They
She's
love
very
each
inspiring.
other.
Well, let's see.
So that puts us like
Oh,
20
are you
minutes out.
No, I've got more.
I'm
Why
usually
did you make that face?
Oh, because it was so Coca-licious.
Coca-licious.
Coca-licious, dude. I gotta quit.
It's tasty.
What do you guys...
Coca-licious.
What? Stop it.
I just want to say,
Go on.
We're 50 episodes
I
into
think we
this
got about
campaign.
15 minutes left. That's it.
Is it as far along as you thought it would be? It's obviously off the rails to a certain extent from where you probably thought it would be 50 episodes in.
Oh yeah,
Last
that's
year.
the nature of D&D.
But where,
It's totally in a
obviously
different
no
direction I would have
spoilers, But in
thought.
the trajectory of the
and
campaign, how do you
lots
think
of-
it's
lots of
how do you think it's
craziness.
going 50 episodes in?
I dig
I'm
it.
excited. We're
I don't know.
man,
I
we're-
can't compare
we're
it to Vox Machina.
charging into Jorhaz.
I know. I wish
kinda
Based
earlier
on
than I was
the
expecting.
show, I
Yeah.
feel
I know,
like
we
there
need to
was a
ask her back
more
soon.
I wanted to run.
set path in Vox
I think we
Machina.
get her back
Let's get her back in a
I feel like we're all over the place
Couple
in this
months.
campaign,
think-
which I'm fine with.
hopefully,
but
yeah.
I just feel like unless Vox just kind of directed it that way.
Yeah, I'm super excited where it is and where it's going. Yeah, like when I planned out the campaign, 'cause you can't plan everything out in advance. You shouldn't. But I have certain beats that are happening in the world and certain events, and some of them you guys were there for. Some of them happened without you, and so I wasn't sure how things were going to lie when we got to our 50th episode. And people are like, 50th episode, something crazy is going to happen. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Spurt.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And that's one you
that
get.
was the crazy. Yeah.
But yeah,
Spurt.
you know, I'm not trying to change the story or tailor the trajectory to be fit like an episode number.
Yeah, this isn't
I
isn't a 1980s sitcom.
No, and I really liked, and like from the beginning, I definitely felt, because I knew that you were building this crazy war story that was happening, and then and I was, as you were like telling us, like sort of giving us the broader strokes of this world, I'm so proud that we've put together a group of people. Exactly. Good boy.
The
That
dog.
we're going to avoid that at all costs.
They
and be like,
named the
no,
dog.
we're going to the other
Joe.
side of the continent.
Oh, it's Henry.
Yeah.
My bad. Henry.
know, Henry.
Somebody's outside dragging something. He
buddy.
don't like that. It's Max's car getting
Someone's
repoed.
outside.
We should really pay him, Marisha.
Max's
Remind me next
car
week to
got
ask
repoed.
somebody about that.
I also like
Continue,
the
Matthew.
dragging a body
Apologize
down
for
the,
my dog
or
and
he
my
said
dog.
dragging something down the hall.
No,
But I imagine it was a body because
I can't say
I'm
it's
a
not
crazy sicko.
It's in some ways it's not as far along as I thought, and in
Nope,
some ways it's
Henry's
way
back.
further than I thought it would be.
I would have died
You
if he
know,
just put his head right
their
there.
involvement
Oh,
in the Empire
no, he's
has
going
been
back
a
to the
little
bed.
less than I was expecting,
Oh, interesting.
but the paths that they're taking are
Just stay right
rocketing
there
in
with your big
directions
dog
I
head
also
there. I
wasn't
love it.
anticipating.
Because if it had been Vox Machina, we would have been in the middle of that shit so fast.
Oh yeah.
And I love that these guys. I love that this is kind of very much the like, oh no, we are not those people, and we do not want anything to do with this. Yeah. This is political bullshit.
Which is why I'm very interested to see how
what happens when we're forced.
Well, here's the thing.
Liam O'Brien.
War sounds exhausting.
Well, it also has a tendency to
Kill people?
expand and,
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
draw at people into it, whether they
Yeah,
want
that's-
to
that's
be
what I-
affected by it or not.
Yes, that's what I've been waiting for, because I think there's a point where you can no longer avoid the war,
course.
even if you're actively trying to, because
And that's
I would
that's-
agree.
That's kind of what we're starting.
Unless
to get
you like
elements of that.
literally
And it's still their choice.
went
how
on
they
the
want to
boat
get
with
involved,
Orly and everybody and
the
just
path they're
sailed the
taking is a very
seas, but
interesting one, and I'm excited to see
we
where it
already
leads
know
us.
Not and Caduceus aren't too big a fan of
yeah,
that.
I don't know. What I've said it before. My most exciting moments in running role-playing games is when the players surprise me and I have no idea where it's going, and so I have to kind of play very reactionary and reflexively and trying to prep in front where I think things may possibly make sense to go.
yeah.
But yeah, and like I said before, there are things happening on the outskirts that they're now not going to necessarily encounter, and those will have waves and ripples as well.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm
I
excited.
just want to get that sword made, man. That's all I want to do is fix that sword. This is my goal now.
Hey man, you just got to find the right kind of people. You have a little bit of
Sword
guidance.
ends up being super lame.
I'm expecting this to be
That's
a singing
what-
sword.
honestly-
Literally, we build it, and it's just like a +1 sword that never stops.
You have to
singing.
assume it's going to be
Like the
something
burning
great.
bush
Yeah,
And-
you
and the-
belong to my heart.
But I thought this.
Oh, God.
I thought, like, imagine, like,
cursed,
obviously
you
we
can
wouldn't do
never put it
this,
down.
but we just
in. I'm
all
so in.
agree we're going to do everything to get the sword right, and it ends up being a whole lot of nothing. It's like you get
I hope so.
+1. I mean, I don't think it's anything mind-blowing, but I
We do,
want
we
it
know we
to
have to
be,
go north.
and I hope
Yeah,
it is.
Considering, yeah.
That's so funny.
I've been like, I felt like it.
Too far from your home.
That's fair. I know. I was like, well, I could have just. Well, I had to buy it all the way. You know, I am
Yeah.
kind of going back. I'm aware.
yeah.
Whenever we get back to, your
like-
home turf at
or
some
that-
point
or
down
that
the road.
Poor chunk of
Sorry, there was
backstory I
a,
gave you so
a
fucking
thing at
late,
work.
and I'm so
I had to text
sorry for
5 things
Don't
real
look at
quick.
me, man. You guys are deciding the path to take.
I know.
I can't force it. I can't wedge everyone's backstory if you're all going, oh, this is where our stories lie.
Well,
We're gonna go this way.
yeah,
I tried to give you some room to yeah.
You did, and
That
it's
was
been
all
great.
like that's
Thank you.
room to play.
No, it'll be there
Yeah.
It'll be there.
whenever.
Whenever. I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying just corralling all the kids.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
really-
you
Caduceus has
can't
brought
lose.
Such a unique.
Maybe you
and,
won't find
in
out
hindsight,
more of your
absolutely
backstory or
necessary
get to it
energy
faster.
to this.
And I feel like no matter what you do,
when he
it's
did a
fun.
grog, and when
It's
he did
like,
Pike, and he is Grog and Pike. in
Grog and
one.
Pike, that's a good way
I
of
mean,
putting
just
it.
as long as we don't die.
And I think it was the conversation that Caduceus and Bo had on the ship heading back. I think it was they both realized that they might be at this time the parents.
Yeah, Bo is also Caduceus' favorite at the moment, which is a whole.
Interesting.
That's a great dynamic.
Yeah.
The two of you have a phenomenal dynamic.
I really like.
And
like,
Marisha's
I-
in the
yeah,
room.
like-
Marisha is in
Not be best
the
friends in a
house.
show.
I guess that does. Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Even Bo and Molly, God rest his soul, they were like
God rest
heading
his
that
soul.
way.
Ford he considers to be an
God
angsty teen.
rest his
That is
soul.
definitely like.
You're not wrong. I
Yeah.
kind of consider him that too.
Yeah, no, he's like, you just got to get your shit together and knock all this off.
More
Nobody.
about what Caduceus thinks of every person in the party. I need it right now.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go. Are we gonna get a breakdown? I would
Oh,
love
wow,
it.
What am I gonna get in trouble for? Yeah. No, he.
Don't have to answer.
No, I don't have to answer that
What are
question.
you
There's
gonna
a
get in
lot.
trouble for?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like any.
I love
any
how Matt in
particular-
the
he definitely,
background is like, you
kinda
don't
thinks
have to
Caleb
answer
is
that.
occasionally out
I
of
know
his
he's
own butt a
probably
bit.
joking,
You think?
Yeah.
but he's probably serious as well. I feel like Matt
and
has to do
he
things to make sure.
hasn't figured out that Jester is an adult yet.
Oh, interesting.
He doesn't regard her as an adult. I mean, which is like he kind of like his
That's
whole
funny
thing with
because
her
I
is
often
very
say she acts
childish
like
and
a
playful
child.
and is not really.
In all,
You're
I mean,
squishy,
she's one of my
by the way.
favorites.
I know
She
she's
just
squishing
does
right
act
there.
like
He
a
hasn't
child.
he hasn't figured out that she's probably got. I mean, he's aware that there's other stuff going on, but he hasn't really gone looking for it yet. So he's like, oh, she's happy and fine. Good, thank God somebody is. And obviously that's not true, and he should know better, but he does. He hasn't gone looking for it.
He has bigger fish to fry at the moment.
I mean, the angsty boys are very angsty, and they currently have one emo girl to deal with as well.
The angsty boys.
There's a great. I'm sorry, I'm totally derailing this.
No.
but
Did Brian
there's a
say it
great
too?
meme
The
that I
angsty
saw
boys.
that
I
said
feel
something
like
about like the
Brian
Mighty
would be
Nine
my best
have
friend.
one brain cell between all of them, and it really just transfers between like Bo and Not the whole time.
He's also disappointed in Not for the amount of drinking, but he would never say that out loud. Although the notion that he can make that go away with a moment's notice is definitely way more power than he should have.
Whoa.
So, see, I think you've had enough. Oh, that's dark. But yeah.
That was amazing because we did go off the rails, but you guys answered like 4 questions in that whole thing. So it's perfect. It's actually like fucking perfect.
I love when we go off the rails.
Taliesin.
Yeah.
Jesse. That's it. Just Jesse.
With an E or an IE?
Jesse. Caduceus
I think it's
often
just
seems
an A,
very
just an
curious
A.
of things that he has never encountered.
sister is Jessie with
preferring
an
to talk
IE.
to creatures even when
But
they might
that's
be dangerous.
usually that's a,
Is it because he
I
was
mean, I've
surrounded
seen
by
it
things people are
always,
needlessly
but
freaked
usually
out by
that's when
graves,
a
the dead,
guy
that he
does it,
assumes most
in
things
my
aren't as scary as people
experiences.
think.
Things are as
I'm
scary as
sure
people think.
it
I
could
think
go
that he
any which way.
understands that dangerous
But I
things
feel
have
like,
wisdom,
in my
and that there
experience,
is a great
IE
amount
is
of
a girl and
information
E
to
is
glean
a
from
guy.
approaching dangerous things as an equal. Wow, that just came out of me. Never mind. What's in this? Fuck.
That's the Taliesin I grew up with.
That's the Taliesin I grew
Not
up
as strong as it could be.
Stuff is going to be kicking in about 10 minutes.
There
Here we
you
go.
Fucking lightweights.
Yeah, no, he is
Lightweights,
aware
exactly
that there
my
is great wisdom that
sentiments.
comes from dangerous things, and that that approach can glean you an awful lot before you actually have to go and have a physical encounter. There's sometimes just walking up to something and asking is very useful.
That's true. It's a different approach. Not a lot of that in D&D sometimes. There's a lot of ask questions
you
later.
can keep from being sometimes
That
you can keep from being arrested.
is very
in front
true,
of a, in front
from
of a
my
coffee shop just
experience.
by
I
really
see a lot of
casually
ask questions
offering
later
the
kind of
officer a Hot
actions.
Pocket. And like, would you like a Hot
Hot
Pocket? And they don't know
Pockets.
how to respond to that, so they're like, I'm giving you a warning, and they walk away. And like, apparently the Hot Pocket worked.
I miss Hot Pockets so much.
I used to
I
have
would eat
Hot
them if they
Pockets
weren't
all the
45%
time.
fiberglass.
That was like back in the
just
day,
eat fiberglass
like when
now.
I was in high school, we always had Hot Pockets.
Carolina Chalupska wants to know.
I
almost
wouldn't say I
chalupa, and I like
miss
it.
them. I eat
The encounters
way
in this
better
episode were
things
resolved
now,
in three
but
different ways, mostly
they were
without
good,
fighting.
Were good
How do you get
at the
players to
time.
understand
I
not
did
every
enjoy my Hot
encounter has
Pockets.
to be a bloody fight to the death? I love this question.
It's a great question. It takes a while sometimes, depending on the group. Some people like the idea of victory in combat is a big part of the game, and so it comes with some time of trust. Sometimes you have to teach lessons by giving them battles that they cannot win, and letting them know when it starts to turn. To
back
those
off.
who would be
To
in the know,
split.
characters that may pick up on the clues. Perhaps your best option is to flee.
Yes.
It's a process of teaching with your players, and even sometimes if they're not picking up on the cues, talking to them between sessions and be like, not all encounters can be resolved this way, and in some cases there are benefits and rewards that can be gleaned from bypassing an encounter in a non-violent way, and it just comes with teaching them.
Rewarding a player for solving something in an unusual way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people a lot of that also comes from the older editions of D&D in which experience points were only quantified by the power of the creatures you had killed or the amount of gold you had gotten.
Yeah.
And those were just the numbers there, and so it taught in an early stage of the game's existence this idea that if you do not kill monsters, you do not get more powerful.
Grind.
Yeah, so as a dungeon master, it's a learning
saying. That makes sense.
experience for your players, and you have to teach them.
That's
you
what
have
I
to
would
guide
do.
them
World of
sometimes through actual
Warcraft,
in-game
I would
lessons,
literally
and
be
sometimes
like,
you're
all
talking
right,
to them on the outside.
I'm going on today, and my goal is I have to kill this many things. Because you got to grind it out. You got to grind out the experience. Sometimes when you're looking for specific items, you just got to kill
it. Even if it's a
over and over and
ridiculous
over the
spark,
same
even
thing
if
just
it's,
till you get a drop.
Oh man, that's a real tough sell to make that work. But I'll adjust this NPC to be receptive to what they're talking about, just because I want them to have an experience where they can engage in a nonviolent manner and defeat this, or allow them to escape this danger without just fighting them head on. And then at the end of that, give them a reward of some kind. Give them a path they weren't expecting to take that leads into a treasure hoard.
A fancy hat.
A fancy hat works
fancy
great.
hat.
Maybe the scenario leads them with an ally who was originally an enemy, who now they can come to for help, forging new equipment.
Right,
Who
yeah.
knows?
Fancy chaps.
Yeah. So just
All about chaps today.
It has
Fancy
been a
chaps.
chaps.
Fancy hat.
Trappy.
We
And
got
we also
Spurt.
both own
We were
pairs of chaps.
rewarded
Yeah,
with
we
Spurt,
covered
and
we
it
were
got
having that conversation earlier.
splatted
today.
all
the
over.
costume parties we've been to.
Remember that board game Splat?
Jesus.
It was.
we can't talk
I mean,
about
it was a
those.
game. I don't know if it was necessarily a board game.
Taliesin.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Our last question of
Splat.
the night is from
Last of the night, guys.
Pale New Moon. This is the one I
Pale
got fucking
New
shamed
Moon.
for a month ago.
Yes.
Caduceus' staff is so interesting. Where did he get it? And is there anything you can tell us about it without spoiling too much?
What did he say? Palian What
My
did he say? I do
personal
remember
inspiration
this.
from it was very Dark Crystal.
Pal
I was
Inu.
in the 48 hours I had to come up with shit.
Buddy.
I definitely was like, I like Henson. I'm gonna look at some Brian Froud art. That'll make me feel better. It did. The
did.
crystals come. The crystal that he's holding actually comes from the land itself that he lives on. It's actually was in the earth. He dug it up and broke it and found wood, and actually he made the staff kind of from him by himself. I think his siblings probably helped a bit.
Wow.
Since they have some skills that he does not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of cultivated the air plants that live on it and the creatures that live inside of it until it was a sustainable, self-contained ecosystem.
It's his own miniature ecosystem.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's great.
Oh man.
It's a little piece of home he carries with him.
You were
That's
saying that
crazy.
whenever I have a very important question. You were
Yeah.
saying that whenever the little beetles or whatever they were, the little bees that were attacking the lava
Fire.
that was in the shield guys, that the shield guy was holding, are they okay? Did all of the beetles come back?
have very short lifespans, so there are
They're
the
just
whole
being
swarm
reborn.
never leaves. So it takes them a little while to run through a cycle to build
Reborn,
up. They're leaving
rebuild.
constantly and going and doing stuff and dying and so no, they're all dead.
They're all those ones though. Yeah, those
majority of
specific ones are dead.
There's
That's
plenty of them that didn't leave the
pretty much
stick
what
that
I
are
was gathering.
currently
But don't worry,
reproducing.
more will come.
Stick's fine.
Okay,
It's fine.
More
Yeah.
will come.
It'll-
Everything's
it'll be-
fine.
It'll be full in no time.
okay, good.
Full of beetles.
Full of beetles. Worms,
Full-
beetles, night crawlers, spiders.
Hey, Taliesin,
Yeah.
how many more questions about your stick are you willing to answer? That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Stick around for Talks Machina After Dog on Project.
I would have liked to hear
Alpha.com.
Taliesin's
I would like to
answer
thank
because he
Matt
probably
and
would have been
Taliesin for
like,
joining me
"I'll say
tonight.
whatever you want."
Reminder, there is no Critical Role this week, but we'll be back the following week on Thursday,
We did hear
February
that.
14th for episode 51.
We already started
Is that backwards
51.
for the folks
We're
at home?
already 45 minutes in.
You're
But we still have plenty of time. I did look. There's still plenty of
Don't
time
forget
for
to love
part
each
1
other,
and 2
don't
and the
worry,
Patreon
It's
hour.
almost Thursday. Stay turnstile, my friends.
Turn Steve. All right, guys, that's it for episode 50 of Talks Machina. I believe there is 141 episodes, so we are now way more than a third of the way through, but we've already said this. Either way, we get Matt, we get Taliesin. I must have saw Matt. I said in the beginning, I saw a shot right before the card. It was Matt Mercer. I guess that's all I saw, because I would have put money on Sam being part of it because of not struggling so much at the end of getting away from the Giants. I thought maybe we'd have Sam on, but then again, I just thought of it. And didn't Sam Riegel say I won't be able to come on Talks Machina for like 3 or 4 months? I should have thought about that, but at least I was honoring not. We talked a lot about Spurt. We got a lot about Caduceus. Talking about the staff at the end there, talking about how he feels about all the other characters. He revealed how he loves the great Bo, which is my favorite, but Bo is his favorite. Danny was trying to get him to say like how he felt about everybody. I feel like Matt was like, don't answer that because that's going to be a can of worms. No pun intended, even though there was a pun intended, because of the staff. He has a whole ecosystem in his staff. I'd love to know more about that. That was just getting interesting. I got lost in Matt Mercer's words, as I always do. He ran in circles. They were even saying, I don't even think you answered the question, but he's just so entrancing with the way he talks. It literally, I could just sit here watching Matt Mercer talk about the world. And if I was out with friends drinking and like getting high or something at a party, he'd be the one I'd want to hear talk. Like there's always somebody like that's a good storyteller. Usually like my friends are like, yo, tell a story, something like that. But I don't always want to be talking. I want to like sit back and chill. And I feel like Matt Mercer would be the greatest guy to have at those kind of gatherings. There was no GIF of the week this week. I feel like he did say that last week because it kind of rang a bell. I'm just not sure if that was this week or maybe they're just doing away with GIF of the week. There could just be fan art of the week. I'm curious to see that next week. Either way, I'm going to jump into episode 51. I'm going to edit this up. I'm going to finish The Legend of Vox Machina, episode 12, the finale of season 2. You guys want to see more of what I do? Full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel. Seasons that are what you're seeing. Hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is in the description below. We got The Legend of Vox Machina season 1 and 2 in full. Patreon hour exclusive of every episode of The Mighty Nine. Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Death Note, The Last of Us. Check it all out. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.